What if I told you that everything you think you are isn't real? Stop everything for just a moment before this video disappears. I want you to hear something most people will never even question yet. It holds the power to shift your entire reality. What if the person you believe yourself to be, your past, your name, your memories, even your very existence, was nothing more than a well-told illusion? The greatest minds in science and philosophy, including physicist John Wheeler, quietly uncovered a truth so vast and unsettling that the world has barely begun to grasp it. You are not a temporary being bound by time. You are not a collection of stories or just a human living a fleeting life. You are an eternal presence, one that never truly began and will never end. Most people will never realize this, but you're here now, watching this, for a reason. So stay with me, because if you dare to look past the veil, to question the script you've been handed since birth, something inside you will awaken. Something that has always been there, waiting. You see, from the very first breath you took, a narrative began, but it wasn't written by you. A name was given, roles were assigned, boundaries set, and, like everyone else, you accepted it. After all, isn't that just what people do? But let me ask you something. Have you ever felt, even faintly, that something didn't quite fit? That the life you're living, the limits you've come to believe in, were somehow placed there by someone else? Like wearing a coat that doesn't belong to you. It fits, but it never truly feels like yours. What if I told you this story? The one you call you is the greatest illusion of all. John Wheeler, a mind who once worked alongside Einstein himself, proposed a radical idea that challenges everything we think we know about reality. He called it the participatory universe, the notion that reality doesn't simply exist, waiting to be discovered. It exists because we observe it. In other words, the moment you look at life, you're not just seeing it, you're creating it. You are not a passive spectator. You are the director, the writer, the actor, and the stage all at once. But somewhere along the way, you forgot. Think about this. Each time you look in the mirror, you see a body and think, this is me. But pause, who is the one seeing through those eyes? Who is the one thinking that thought? Science reveals that your physical body is in constant flux. Cells die, regenerate, replace themselves endlessly. The you walking around today doesn't have the same body as 10 years ago. Even your brain, the seat of consciousness, is continuously rewiring and reshaping itself. So, if your body keeps changing, what remains? Who or what are you really? Let's keep going. The truth runs deeper than you think. You've started to realize you are not just the character in this story. You're the one holding the pen. Wheeler's revelations don't stop at the nature of identity. They go even deeper into time itself. What if I told you that time, as we experience it, is not as solid or linear as it seems? Wheeler proved something astonishing. The past and the future are not fixed points along a line. They are mental constructs, a kind of stage our minds create to make sense of the unfolding moment. But in truth, everything is happening now. Let that sink in. The version of you that existed yesterday and the one you imagine for tomorrow, they aren't separate from who you are now. They are simply different threads, all part of the same endless fabric. And you are not just caught in that weave. You are the loom. Close your eyes for a second and picture this. Imagine reality as a strip of film, a movie reel. Each frame, it moment, exists independently and simultaneously. What we call time is just the projection of these frames in a sequence, like light passing through film. It feels like movement. But in reality, It's all just now. And here's the divine secret. The movie only plays because you are watching it. Wheeler's idea of the participatory universe reveals that without an observer, reality doesn't even exist. There's no separate world out there waiting to be found. Your awareness isn't just part of the equation, is the equation. This means you're not bound to the roles you've been assigned. You are not a fixed character, written into a divine script. You are the page, the ink, and the hand writing the story. And the only reason you ever forgot that truth is because the pen mistook itself for the story it was writing. This is where the illusion of the ego begins. Think of the ego as a clever shadow, always whispering lies in your ear, telling you you're small, isolated, powerless. It thrives on fear, grows in the soil of self-doubt, and convinces you the world is happening to you, not through you. But here's the truth that no one ever told you. The ego is just a glitch, a program caught in an endless loop. Picture this. You're wearing a virtual reality headset. In that illusion, you're lost in a dense, eerie forest. You hear distant growls, feel cold wind clawing at your skin, and panic rises. You run, you hide, you fight to survive. But the moment you take off the headset, it's all gone. The forest was never relit, was a projection. This is the ego. It is a filter, not reality. A lens that bends light into shadows, convincing you're something you're not. And the longer you wear it, the more you forget your true self. Wheeler's theories pull back the curtain on this illusion. He revealed that reality is not some lifeless, mechanical system ticking away. It is alive, fluid, responsive. Every thought, every emotion, every choice you make sends, ripples real waves through the very fabric of existence. But what happens when you finally stop reacting and begin creating again? Let's keep going. The next truth is the one most people never dare to face. You've begun to sense it now, that deep knowing that you're not just part of the story. You're the one shaping it. You are the observer, the creator, the architect behind this vast, intricate design of reality. But here's the tragedy. People will never come to this realization simply because they never take off the headset. They never question the illusion. But can you feel it? That subtle but undeniable feeling that everything you once doubted about yourself might actually be true. That maybe, just maybe, the limits you've accepted, the fears you've carried for so long, were never yours to begin with. Stay with that feeling. Let it breathe. Let it grow. Because you've felt this before, even if only for a moment. Remember those strange synchronicities. The time you thought of someone just before they called. Or the moments when life aligned so perfectly, it felt like the universe had read your mind. Wheeler's work suggests these aren't coincidences. They are clues. The universe is not a silent backdrop. It's alivened. It's responding to your awareness. But here's the turning point. What if you stopped brushing those moments off as random? What if, instead, you began to work with them on purpose? That's when the real shift happens. That's when you stop being the wave, pushed and pulled by forces outside your control. And remember that you are the ocean itself, immense, boundless, and unstoppable. Now, imagine this. You've been playing a role in a story so rich, so layered, and detailed that you completely forgot it was a role at all. Every label you've clung to, your name, your memories, your heartbreaks, your triumphs are like costumes and props on a stage. They feel real only because you've practiced the lines for so long, repeated them so often, that they became your truth. But haven't you always had the sense that there was something more? Wheeler's discoveries echo that suspicion. You're not just an actor in the drama, you're the playwright, you're the director, and you are also the stage itself. And here's the twist. The moment you awaken to this truth, the script your life changes. Think of a whirlpool in a river. At first glance, it looks like its own separate thing. It spins, it has form, it seems to move on its own. It feels distinct, but is it really, or is it simply the river in motion? That's you. Everything you think of as you, your thoughts, your emotions, even your physical form is just the swirl, constantly shifting, constantly changing. But the river underneath, the deeper current that gives rise to all of it, that is your awareness, and it has no beginning and no end. Wheeler described this beautifully when he spoke of the universe as a self-excited circuit, a loop that exists because it observes itself. And if that's true, then who or what is doing the observing? Let's step even further into the truth, because what comes next may change how you see everything. You're not just drifting through this loop, you are the very source of it. You are the one from which it all arises. Now pause for a second. Think deeply. If everything you believe you are your thoughts, emotions, memories, your identities constantly changing, then what remains unchanged? What is it that observes all of this movement? Who or what is the silent witness behind every thought you think, every feeling you experience, every moment you live? Close your eyes, even just briefly, and feel it. That still, quiet awareness. That doesn't come or go, that's you. Not the version of you that takes on roles, tells stories, and wears names like costumes, but the one that has always been present, watching from behind the scenes. The real you. Wheeler's work points to a stunning truth. This awareness isn't just personal. It's not locked inside your skull. It is universal. The same awareness watching your thoughts is the same awareness holding the stars, spinning galaxies, and containing the entirety of existence. All of it arises within this vast, boundless field of consciousness. You are not separate from it. You are that field. And here's where things begin to truly expand. Wheeler's idea of a participatory universe suggests something even more profound. Not only are you observing reality, but you are also shaping it. Yes, really. Every thought you think, every intention you form, every emotion you feel, they're not meaningless. They send ripples into the very fabric of reality. Science supports this idea. The observer effect tells us that particles don't exist in a definite state until they are observed. That means the universe doesn't operate like a fixed, lifeless machine. It behaves more like a living symphony. And you are not merely a listener, you are the conductor. Every belief you hold, every decision you make, is like a note played into the melody of your life. But this is where the ego fights back. It rejects this truth. It clings to the illusion that you are small, separate, and powerless. Why? Because the ego feeds on fear and limitation. The moment you start seeing through that illusion, its grip weakens. It's like stepping out of a pitch-dark room into the sunlight. Suddenly, everything is illuminated. And once you've seen that light, there's no way to unsee it. Yet this is exactly where most people stop. They have a moment of awakening, a glimpse of something bigger, but they don't follow it through. They recognize the illusion, but they're afraid to walk beyond it. Don't let that be you. This is your turning point, to your moment to go further, to step completely into the awareness that you're not just a participant in this universe. You are its creator. The thoughts you allow, the beliefs you adopt, the choices you make, these are not minor. They are the raw materials of reality itself. Wheeler called this it from bit. The radical idea that all of reality arises from binary decisions, from yes or no, on or off, choices made at the most fundamental level. And so, if everything is built from choice, what reality are you building with yours? Let's now explore what this means for the world we think we see and how your awareness is coding it into being. You've already begun to remember your power, to realize that every choice shapes the reality you live in. Every single moment of your life presents a choice, a fork in the road. Will you continue believing in the illusion of separation, or will you awaken to the truth of your infinite nature? Most people, without even realizing it, choose the illusion. They accept the role assigned to them by fear, by conditioning, by the expectations of others, and they stay stuck. But you don't have to. Right now, you're standing at a critical crossroads. One path keeps you locked into the character you've been playing, reacting to the storyline, following a script you never wrote. The other path invites you to become the author, to pick up the pen and begin creating the life that was always meant to be yours. And the most astonishing part, you've always had this power. It's been with you since the beginning, quiet, waiting, patient, just waiting for you to remember. Wheeler's work isn't just a theoretical concept or a piece of complex science. It's a map, a guide, pointing you back to the self you've always been, beneath the layers of fear, time, and illusion, a self that is limitless, eternal, and inseparable from the very fabric of the universe. This moment, right now, is your wake-up call. Are you ready to answer it? Because if you are, then it's time to venture deeper beyond the edges where most people stop. Let's look at the fears you've carried for so long. Fear of loss, of failure, of being rejected, or even of death. Where do these fears really come from? They all stem from one belief, the belief that you are separate, that there's a hard line between you and the world around you, that you are here and everything else is out there. But let's be honest, does that line actually exist? Or is it like drawing a boundary in the middle of the ocean and pretending that water on one side is somehow different from the water on the other? Wheeler's participatory universe shows us that this separation is nothing more than illusion, a trick of perception. The universe doesn't exist as something far away, distant, and disconnected. It exists because you are perceiving it, and that means profoundly you are never apart from it. You are not just a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean, moving and expressing through a temporary form. So let's ground this in something real, something you can feel. Close your eyes for a moment and remember a time when you felt deeply, almost overwhelmingly connected. Maybe it was while watching a golden sunset paint the sky. Maybe it was a song that pierced right through your chest. Or maybe you stood beneath a sky full of stars and suddenly felt incredibly still and alive in that moment. The idea of you and everything else vanished. There was no observer and no observed. There was just presence, pure, undivided. Being that wasn't just a feeling. That was reality revealing its true face. And in that instant, you weren't just looking at the universe. You were the universe. That sense of connection wasn't fleeting. It wasn't just a passing emotional high. It was a glimpse of your truest nature, what lies beneath the constant noise of the ego. But here's the challenge. Most people never stay in that space long enough to realize what it really means. Let's now move into why that happens and what you can do to break free from the ego's grip once and for all. You've already touched the truth beneath the noise now. Let's explore what keeps so many from hearing it. Most people spend their entire lives drowning in the constant chatter of the mind, never realizing that underneath all the noise, there has always been a deep, unshakable silence. It's there, steady and still, waiting to be noticed. This is part of the reason why the idea of death fills us with so much fear. We think of it as the ultimate ending. But how can something that is infinite possibly come to an end? Wheeler's theories make this idea strikingly clear. Time isn't a straight line moving from past to future. It's not a rigid sequence with a beginning and a final stop. Instead, it's a loop, a spiral, a continuous, flowing present. What you call the past or the future are just different angles from which you're looking at the same infinite now. And here's the insight that changes everything. If you were never truly born in the way you thought, how could you ever truly die? Your awareness doesn't start at birth or end at death. It simply shifts, like a single wave returning to the vastness of the ocean. You don't disappear. You merge back into the whole. You become everything. But this realization isn't just about intellectually understanding that you're eternal and infinite. It's about embodying that truth in how you live. So, what does that actually look like? It means releasing the old idea that you're just a victim of random circumstances. It means seeing each obstacle, every heartbreak, every loss not as something happening to you, but as the universe reshaping itself through you. Every experience becomes a teacher, a guide, and when you stop resisting that natural flow, life begins to shift in profound ways. The weight of struggle lifts, fear loses its grip, and you suddenly recognize that the very pain you've been running from has always held the doorway to your liberation. Think for a moment about how often you've blamed yourself for not being enough, smart enough, strong enough, successful enough. What if those thoughts were never truly yours? What if they were just echoes of the ego's narrative, crafted to keep you small, afraid, and stuck? Wheeler's discoveries suggest something radically freeing. You're not here to prove anything. You're here to create, to explore, to remember who you are. The universe isn't judging you, it's responding to you. Every thought you think, every belief you hold, every emotion you feel, of it weaves itself into the tapestry of your reality. If you believe you're limited, that's exactly what you'll experience. But the moment you remember your true nature, the moment you understand you're not merely a wave passing through time, but the ocean itself, everything begins to change. Right now, you might be feeling a surge of emotion. Maybe it's curiosity, maybe excitement, maybe even a flicker of fear. That's completely natural. The ego doesn't like being questioned. It will resist, it will fight, it will try to pull you back into the old story, the one where you're powerless and asleep. But here's the turning point. You have a choice. Will you let the ego continue writing your script, or are you ready to step beyond? In the next part, we'll uncover what lies on the other side of that choice and what it means to awaken fully beyond the stories you've outgrown. You've already begun to remember who you truly are. Now it's time to see what that really means. This isn't about transforming into someone new. It's about waking up to what you've always been, eternal, boundless, complete, the real. Question is, are you ready to fully see it? Because once you do, everything changes. There's no going back. The truth sets you free, yes, but only if you allow it. And that means breaking through the final layer of illusion, the one so many never even notice. Think for a moment how much of your life has been spent searching for meaning, for love, for purpose, for some external proof that you're worthy, that you're enough. But here's the paradox. The more desperately you search, the more distant it all seems. It's like chasing your shadow. No matter how fast you run, it always stays just out of reach. But Wheeler's work holds a radical key to unlock this mystery. He revealed that reality isn't something out there you have to find. Reality is something you create. And here's the truth that might just shake your entire worldview. Everything you've been seeking has always been within you. Imagine your reality as a blank canvas, completely empty, waiting. Nothing appears on it until you choose what to paint. But most people don't realize they're holding the brush. They paint without knowing it, letting old fears, limiting beliefs, and inherited stories decide the image. They live unconsciously, letting the past dictate the present. But the moment you wake up, the moment you truly see that your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions are shaping your world, everything begins to transform. This is what Wheeler called the participatory anthropic principle. The universe doesn't just exist because you observe it. It exists for you, shaped by your attention, your choices, and your vibration. So ask yourself, what kind of universe are you creating right now? Is it one wrapped in fear, doubt, and self-limitation? Or is it one filled with openness, wonder, and infinite possibility? Here's the piece that most people overlook. When you shift your awareness, the entire universe shifts with you. That's not just spiritual philosophy, it's grounded in physics. Wheeler's It from Bit Theory shows that reality, at its most fundamental level, is made of choices. Yes or no, fear or trust, doubt or belief. Every single choice you make sends out ripples that shape your experience. And here's where it becomes even more profound. The choice doesn't have to be big. It can be as small as a thought, a breath, a single second of awareness. And in that single instant, your entire experience of life can begin to shift. You've probably felt this before, maybe in a quiet moment of clarity, or when something inside you suddenly just clicked. That wasn't random. That was truth knocking. And now, in the next part, we'll follow that ripple further into the deepest layer of creation itself, where your consciousness and the fabric of the universe meet, ready to go deeper. Remember those moments we talked about when everything suddenly aligns, like the universe is whispering directly to you? That's not coincidence. That's you stepping fully into your role as a creator. Now, let's go even deeper. Take a moment to reflect on all the stories you've been told about what's possible. How many of those stories did you accept without ever questioning them? Stories about who you're supposed to be, what your limits are, what your life should look like. Most of us carry those stories around as if they were truth, but they're not. They're inherited programs, passed down by people who were trapped in their own illusions, repeating patterns they never broke free from. And each time you accept one of those beliefs as your own, you give away a little more of your power. But Wheeler's discoveries challenge that surrender. He showed us that reality isn't a rigid structure. It's flexible, fluid, like a river. It shifts and bends with the movement of your own awareness. So here's the question. Will you keep floating along in someone else's current? Or will you begin carving a new path for yourself? Pause for a second right now and ask yourself, who am I? Not your name, not your job, not the roles you play in the world, not the labels others have given you, but the awareness behind the question. Can you feel it? That silent presence watching it all? That's the real you. And here's the most empowering truth of all, that awareness isn't limited by your past, your current situation, or even your deepest fears. It's infinite, boundless, absolutely unstoppable. Yet most people never wake up to this truth. They remain asleep, caught in the illusion of the ego, believing they're small and separate from the universe. They spend their lives like waves on the surface, never realizing they've always been the ocean beneath. But you're here. You're still listening, and that alone says something powerful. A part of you already remembers. A deeper part has been waiting for this very moment to awaken. This is your turning point. You can let this truth fade back into the noise of daily life, becoming just another idea you once heard. Or you can choose to leap. You can begin living from the truth of who you truly are. You can stop being the effect of life and start becoming its cause. Because Wheeler's work isn't just theoretical. It's an invitation, a call to action, a chance to stop searching and start creating. To step into your role not as a passive observer, but as the conscious architect of your own universe. You have never been small. You have never been powerless. You have never been separate. You have always been infinite. And now, as this truth sinks deeper, a new question begins to arise. If you are the creator, then what will you choose to create next? Just as you began to embrace your role as the creator of your reality, you may have started to recall moments that felt far too perfect to be dismissed as mere chance. Think back, those times when a stranger said exactly what you needed to hear, or when a solution appeared just as you were on the verge of giving up. Maybe you brushed those off as coincidence, luck, or random timing. But what if none of it was random? What if those experiences weren't accidents at all, but signals, evidence that the universe is not only alive, but listening, engaged, and intimately connected with you? John Wheeler's idea of the participatory universe gives us a powerful insight. The divine isn't some distant, disordered void. It's a living, responsive web of infinite possibilities, threads subtly shifting and vibrating in response to your awareness. This isn't just poetic philosophy. This is grounded in quantum science. Wheeler's work on quantum entanglement shows that when two particles interact, they remain forever linked, no matter how far they drift apart. Change one, and the other responds instantly. That's not speculation, it's proven science. And what's more staggering, this principle doesn't just apply to subatomic particles. It speaks to the very structure of reality itself. Here's where it becomes deeply personal. That feeling of synchronicity you've experienced, that wasn't just something happening to you. That was the universe responding to humoring your state of being, answering your thoughts, emotions, and intentions. Every thought you think, every emotion you allow yourself to feel, ripples out through this invisible quantum web. When you're clear, intentional, and aligned, life seems to unfold effortlessly. Doors open, the right people show up, opportunities feel magnetically drawn to you. But when you're caught in fear, confusion, or resistance, those same ripples generate friction, manifesting as delays, missed chances, and uncertainty. Let's ground this in a simple image. Picture tossing a pebble into a perfectly still pond. The ripples spread outward, touching every inch of the water's surface. Now imagine that pond as the universe itself. Your awareness is the pebble. Every belief you hold, every observation you make, every subtle shift in your consciousness sends waves that touch not only your life, but the lives of everyone and everything around you. This is why synchronicity feels so deeply personal, because it's your awareness, echoing through the universe in a language far older than words. And here's the part most people overlook. Synchronicity is not just a sign, it's a tool, a guidepost. It's the universe signaling that you're aligned at your inner state, is resonating with something infinite. So next time you notice one of these uncanny moments, don't ignore it. Don't brush it off as random. Pause, lean in, ask yourself, what was I thinking? What was I feeling in that exact moment? Because those questions will lead us even deeper. Those uncanny moments of synchronicity weren't just meaningful, they were mirrors. Reflections of your inner world revealing something much deeper. Ask yourself again, what was I observing? Because the universe doesn't operate at random. It reflects, it responds, it listens. John Wheeler believed that reality doesn't exist as a static object out there, separate from us. Instead, reality is born out of observation. Awareness is the womb from which the universe arises. So when synchronicity shows up in your life, it isn't some far-off cosmic force trying to get your attention. It's you. It's your awareness, your energy, your consciousness shaping the moment in real time. It's the self-excited circuit Wheeler described the universe feeding back to itself through you. Revealing the truth, you are not separate from the divine. You are the divine. Let's go even deeper. If synchronicity is the universe aligning with your awareness, then quantum entanglement is the scientific proof that everything is connected. Wheeler's work shows that at the most essential level, separation is an illusion. Time, distance, space, they don't break the connection. The entire universe is a unified, indivisible whole, and you are woven into it. This changes everything. It means that every thought you think, every intention you carry, every action you take, sends subtle yet powerful ripples across this invisible web of connection. You don't just affect your own experience. You influence the entire cosmic dance. You're not just moving through the universe, you are actively shaping it. Take a breath, let that sink in. If everything is connected, then nothing you do is ever meaningless. No thought is too small. No decision is without consequence. Every belief, every emotional frequency, every whisper of energy you release is felt by the whole. This isn't just spiritual language, it's the very physics of existence. Now ask yourself, honestly, what kind of ripples am I sending out into the world? Are they rooted in fear, doubt, and scarcity? Or are they grounded in trust, clarity, and alignment? Most people go through life not even realizing they're holding the pebbleette alone, that they're tossing it into the pond with every thought, every feeling, every breath. But you're not most people. You're here. And a part of you already knows. A part of you is awakening, ready to take ownership of the reality you're shaping. Because when you do, synchronicity evolves into something far more powerful. It becomes a living compass, a guide, a confirmation that you're not just surviving, you're co-creating with the infinite. This is your moment to look back at the so-called coincidences in your life and see them for what they truly were. Not accidents, but echoes. Echoes of your awareness, echoes of your power. And now, with this understanding, what comes next will take us even closer to the heart of who you truly are. You've always been part of something far greater than yourself, and now you're beginning to remember. The more deliberate you become with your awareness, the more clearly the universe starts to respond in ways that seem impossible to explain. The idea that life is random, it's simply not true. It's a myth we've been taught to believe. The deeper truth is far more empowering. You are the architect of your reality, and the universe is your living, breathing masterpiece. Now think, for a moment, how do your emotions influence the way your days unfold? When you wake up feeling light, joyful, or peaceful, doesn't everything seem to fall into place? People smile more. Obstacles dissolve. Solutions seem to find you without effort. But when your morning starts with frustration, anxiety, or dread, the world often reflects that tension back at you. Everything feels off. Why is that? Why do emotions feel so potent, like they're the very switchboard of reality? Because emotions are not just passing sensations, they're frequencies, vibrational signals, the language through which you communicate with the universe. Just like a radio must be tuned to a specific frequency to receive a particular station, your emotional state tunes you into a corresponding version of reality. The universe isn't out there deciding whether you deserve blessings or burdens. It's simply echoing the signal you send with every breath, every moment. Let's go deeper. John Wheeler taught that observation shapes reality, but what is it that energizes our observations? It's emotion. Emotion is the amplifier. A passing thought may only ripple gently through the field, but when it's infused with powerful emotion, whether it's joy, love, fear, or anger, it becomes a wave, a surge of influence, shaping the world around you with astonishing force. Now consider this. Most people go through life letting their emotions run on autopilot. They react to situations, believing their feelings are caused by external events. But what if that's backwards? What if your emotions aren't simply reactions, but the very force generating the experiences you attract? Imagine waking up with a heart full of gratitude. You feel light, open, connected. That emotional energy pulses outward into the quantum field, aligning you with people, events, and opportunities that vibrate on that same frequency. You're not just having a good day, you're creating it. But there's a catch. Emotion doesn't stop being powerful when it's negative. Fear, shame, frustration, they carry just as much creative force as joy or love. The difference is, they generate realities you don't want. The universe doesn't judge, it simply reflects. Wheeler's discoveries confirm this. Reality is not dictated by a distant power. It's participatory. You're involved in its unfolding every second. And as we move forward, we're going to look even closer at how to reclaim this power consciously, how to take the wheel and create from alignment, instead of reaction, ready for that next step. Emotions are not just powerful, they're creative forces shaping the world you experience. The universe doesn't differentiate between positive or negative emotions. It simply reflects whatever energy you send out. That's why gaining a deeper understanding of your emotional state is absolutely essential. Emotions are the steering wheel of your life. They guide the flow of your experiences, shaping the version of reality you step into. Imagine your emotions like the fuel in a car. You can't drive anywhere without it. But what happens if you pour in the wrong fuel? The engine might stall, or worse, break down completely. Most people unknowingly fill their tanks with fear, doubt, or frustration, and then feel stuck wondering why nothing moves forward. But here's the truth. You have a choice. Every single day, you can consciously decide which emotions to feed into your system. And by doing so, you take control of the direction your reality unfolds. Let's go even deeper. Picture two parallel realities. In one, you're frozen by fear and uncertainty. In the other, you're thriving in joy, purpose, and clarity. According to Wheeler's theory, Both realities exist simultaneously as potentialities. Which one becomes real? The answer lies in which emotional frequency you choose to align with. Your emotions are the dial that tunes your awareness into a matching version of existence. The more you dwell in fear or lack, the more you experience a reality shaped by that lens. But the moment you shift into gratitude, love, or empowerment, you quite literally change the channel. You tune in to a different stream of reality. And here's what most people don't realize. You don't need to avoid or suppress negative emotions. They're not your enemy. In fact, they're valuable signals highlighting where you've fallen out of alignment. When fear rises up, instead of pushing it away, pause and ask, what is this showing me? What thought or belief is triggering this feeling? When you observe emotions without judgment, you break their grip. You take your hand off autopilot and reclaim control of the dial. Think about it. Every single emotion is a form of communication between you and the universe. When you feel gratitude, it's like telling the universe, I welcome more of this. When you feel fear, it's as if you're saying, I expect this to continue. And the universe, faithful and unfiltered, responds accordingly. This isn't fantasy, it's how participatory reality works. Wheeler's work makes it clear. The universe responds not to your words, but to the energy you radiate. And that energy becomes your lived reality. So the real question is, what reality are your emotions creating for you right now? As we move forward, let's explore how this power of awareness and emotional alignment can become your compass, one that points you toward a life of deeper meaning, purpose, and peace. Your emotions are not just reflections, they're instructions, actively shaping the world you move through. So ask yourself, are your emotions building a reality of joy and abundance, or are they silently reinforcing a story of struggle, limitation, and lack? The truth is, the choice has always been yours. You are not a victim of your emotions. You are their master. And through that mastery, you become the architect of your reality. Here's a simple yet powerful challenge. For the next 24 hours, become intensely aware of your emotional state. When you feel joy, don't just acknowledge it, amplify it. Let it expand and fill your awareness. When fear, doubt, or anxiety arise, don't suppress them, observe them. Ask yourself where they come from, question their source, and then gently release them. Even this subtle shift in how you relate to your emotions can send waves through the quantum field, altering your reality in ways that will surprise you. Remember, emotions are not merely reactions to life, they're the blueprint of the universe you're shaping. The more you internalize and live this truth, the more you'll recognize the universe not as something out there, but as something intimately connected to you, as an extension of your consciousness. You've always held the language of creation within you. Now, it's time to speak it deliberately and with clarity. Take a moment, close your eyes and visualize this. Right now, there are infinite versions of you, all living entirely different realities. There's a version of you who made every bold choice you hesitated on, who said yes instead of no, who leaped instead of waiting. There's a version who took the risk and trusted life instead of playing it safe. But here's the most mind-blowing part: all of those alternate realities already exist. They're not distant hopes or imaginative fiction. They are real and unfolding at this very moment. What separates you from them? Awareness, nothing more. Physicist John Wheeler didn't just suggest that you shape reality. His work supports a radical truth. Infinite realities coexist simultaneously. Every decision, every emotion, every passing thought creates a branching point, a new potential path. You're never locked into one storyline. Your awareness is the key that allows you to shift between these parallel lives. So, let's reframe. Reality. Imagine it as a limitless streaming platform filled with countless channels. Each one is a different version of your life. Right now, you're tuned into a specific channel, one that reflects your present thoughts, emotional state, and belief systems. But just like flipping through TV channels, you have the power to change the station. The real question is, do you know how to use the remote? Let's dive deeper and explore exactly how this inner remote works and how you can begin tuning into the version of you that's already living the life you've dreamed of. You already hold the remote control to shift realities. Now the question becomes, which reality are you tuning into? The idea that there are multiple versions of reality running in parallel may sound abstract, but according to physicist John Wheeler's It from Bit theory, this isn't science fiction, it's how reality functions at its core. Reality is not a static structure. It's a constantly evolving field of choices, probabilities, and potential outcomes. At the quantum level, particles don't take shape until they're observed. They remain in a state of possibility until consciousness steps in. Your awareness, in this sense, acts as the observer, collapsing waves of possibility into the solid reality you experience. So take a moment and ask yourself, what version of reality are you choosing to bring into form right now? Is it the life you truly want, or one you've unknowingly accepted out of habit, fear, or self-doubt? Here's the part that might completely shift your perspective. You don't need to create your dream life. It already exists. That bold, fearless, joyful version of you, one who wakes up excited, who moves with clarity and confidence, isn't imaginary. That version is already living in a parallel reality. Your task is not to build that life from scratch, but to align your awareness with it, to tune your internal dial to that frequency. Think of it like a radio. The music is already playing, but you won't hear it unless you're on the right station. The same goes for your life. So how do you make that shift? It starts with recognizing that your current experience is shaped by your core beliefs and emotions. If you believe the world is dangerous, unfair, or lacking in opportunity, then that's what your reality will echo back to you. But shift that lens even slightly and everything begins to change. When you choose to see the world as abundant, kind, and full of possibility, your awareness locks on to a different version of reality. It's like shining a spotlight. Whatever you place your attention on becomes more vivid, more solid, more real. Here's a powerful way to put this into practice. Close your eyes and clearly visualize the version of you who's already living your highest life. Picture their posture, their smile, their habits. Feel what it's like to live as them, not just in thought, but in emotion and sensation. What do they believe? How do they speak? How do they respond when faced with uncertainty? Now, here's the key. Don't wait for that version of you to arrive. Start being them now. Speak as they would. Make choices as they would. Walk through your day with their confidence. The very moment you begin to embody their energy, you're aligning your consciousness with their frequency. You're shifting timelines. This isn't just imagination or motivational theory, it's grounded in quantum physics. Wheeler's participatory universe suggests that your consciousness plays an active role in shaping what you experience. Your beliefs, your focus, and your actions are the instruments that move you from one potential reality to another. Yet sadly, most people never reach for those tools. They replay the same emotional patterns, recycle the same limiting thoughts, and unknowingly recreate the same life again and again. But what if you could break that cycle? In the next section, let's explore how to recognize and disrupt those patterns, so you can finally step into the version of reality that's been waiting for you all along. You already have the ability to shift realities. What changes everything is whether you choose to act on it. Now pause for just a moment and reflect on your life. Are you truly living the reality your heart longs for? Or have you settled into a version that no longer inspires, fulfills, or challenges you? The truth is, you're not stuck. You never have been. The power to move into a new reality isn't hidden in some distant future or reserved for a select few. It's already within you. You don't need years of struggle, outside approval, or some dramatic transformation. What you need is a shift in awareness, conscious decision to refocus your attention on the version of reality you truly want to live in. Now imagine what could happen if you made that shift. What kind of ripple effects would flow through your life if you could step into a reality where you were thriving, deeply aligned, and empowered? What else might begin to change? Your relationships could deepen, opportunities might emerge in unexpected ways, and even the world around you could start responding with more clarity and support. John Wheeler's groundbreaking work reminds us that the universe isn't a rigid structure, it's a dynamic, living web of infinite possibilities. And here's the part that changes everything. You're not just floating in that web, you are steering the ship. You are the navigator of your own experience. This isn't just about designing a better life, it's about remembering the truth that's always been yours. The power to choose. Every moment offers a fork in the road, a quiet invitation to shift, to align, and to step into a new level of possibility. So here's the question. Are you ready to change the channel? Because the version of you that already lives on the other side of that choice, the version that's bold, fulfilled, and fully alive, is ready and waiting. All it takes is for you to tune in. Now, let's go even deeper, to a place few people dare to explore. Think back on every experience you've ever had, every success, every failure, every laugh, every tear. Whether it was a fleeting moment of joy or the ache of heartbreak, all those moments have something in common. And no, it's not your thoughts, your physical body, or even your emotions. It's the awareness behind them, that still, ever-present witness that observed it all, without judgment. That awareness, that's the real you. And here's where John Wheeler's work takes us into truly uncharted territory. What if the entire universe isn't something separate from you, but a mirror, a living reflection of your own awareness? What if reality doesn't exist on its own, but only comes alive through observation? Wheeler's theories challenge everything we thought we knew. They suggest that consciousness and the universe are not two separate things, they are fundamentally interconnected. One cannot exist without the other. Picture yourself standing in front of a mirror. What you see isn't the mirror itself, it's your reflection in it. That's how the universe works. It isn't some cold, distant space out there. It's an ever-shifting mirror, responding in real time to the quality of your awareness and intention. But what does that mean for how you live, think, and feel? Let's continue and explore just how deep this mirror goes.